Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a foundation review. I purchased the Makeup by Mario's SurrealSkin. It's taken a little while to get here because it's not actually available in the UK, but they do ship worldwide. So I ordered it straight away, and I did have to message them to ask them where the package was because it had been a few weeks and I still hadn't had a dispatch note. So then they sent it out straight away and it arrived within a couple of days. This will be a first impressions. I'm going to do some check-ins throughout the day and show you how this is wearing with my combination oily skin. I don't know if the shade I've ordered is going to be correct. I didn't use the shade finder. Instead, I went onto TikTok and saw loads of people using this foundation, and I decided to pick a colour based off of some of the swatches and the shades that I'd seen on other people. Okay, so the shade I purchased was 8N, which is 8 Neutral. I was actually looking at a lighter shade, but I think this might be quite good. I've seen a lot of videos about the foundation itself. People were referring to it as glitter that's in there. It's kind of like a satin glow. So hopefully it's just kind of radiant and not too glowy, because as I do have that combination oily skin throughout the day, I don't need the additional glow. If I prep my skin well, my natural oils give me the glow that I need. But I'm very excited to try it, and I want to review it either way, because even if you have slightly more dry skin, you might really love this foundation. I'm going to prep my skin with the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. This one is geared more towards oily combination skin. If you have slightly drier skin, you might want to try the balm version. I'm going to do half my face with this Buff and Blend brush by Nude Sticks. It's similar in terms of its bristles to the F4 brush that Makeup by Mario, or Makeup by Mario as I would say, recommends, which is from his collection. I don't have it, so I'm going to use a similar brush, and then I will go in with a beauty blender on the left side. So to begin with, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the foundation. There are 30 shades available, all ranging from light, light medium, medium, medium dark, and then dark. So a great shade range. And they also come in the different undertones as you would expect from foundations. But if you're new to learning about foundation, foundation also comes with a different undertone. I mostly am neutral, and then in the summer I tend to be a little bit warmer, more yellow, or if you're with MAC, yellow is more cool. They just do it the opposite way around. So it contains what's known as moisture grip technology. So the idea is that it grips to the skin, but it stays hydrating for up to 12 hours. So we'll be able to see what that's like. It says you can really shear the foundation out, which I believe would be really good if you do with your fingers more so than with a brush, because you could really shear it out. I feel like you get a very nice light coverage with your fingers. I always find with a brush you still get a little bit more coverage than you would with your fingers. So I would say this is a nice medium coverage with this brush, like a natural medium coverage, which is really nice. It looks really nice on the skin. I will zoom in to show you all. It covers really nice, it goes over the pores lovely. It does say it's buildable. Obviously you can build it up with a brush. This reminds me a little bit in its finish of the House Labs. It has like a similar glow, but nowhere near glittery. So when people say it's got that glitter in it, you can always see on the skin when there's light reflecting particles in it, and you can't see that in this light. You can't see that. It's actually not a bad colour. Your chest is always going to be a little bit on the warmer side. If you are somebody that tans well, you will always find that this part tends to be a little bit warmer in terms of it having that red undertone. It doesn't necessarily have to pull completely red until you've put something that's kind of quite yellow on your skin, then you will notice the difference. But don't let that deter you when you're picking a foundation. As long as it's kind of in the same realms as your neck and your chest, then you can warm this up. Adding something that's got kind of like a reddy undertone when it comes to your bronzer will help to match everything with your chest. So don't panic too much if it pulls slightly yellow. So now you can see the difference between the two. You can see it's much more flawless. It still looks super natural. Nothing too heavy, but it's just evened out the skin. I'm now going to go on this side with a sponge, but I'm going to dab it with my finger onto the skin first, just to distribute it, because otherwise the sponge will just absorb everything. And you don't want that. You still want it on the skin and not all in the sponge. That way you won't waste any. So now I'm going to bounce that over. And you'll see that if you put it on the skin first, you get to use most of that product on your skin, and it distributes it really quick across the face. Otherwise you'll find you go through a lot more pumps of your foundation because most of it will be absorbed in here. It's such a lovely finish. You really can't feel it sitting on the skin. So lightweight. If you've got quite deep pores, especially if you've had recent facials, like a hydrofacial where your pores are really nice and clean, they tend to stay open a little bit for a little while. So you can just go in with a brush and almost just pad over. So that is one layer with the sponge, and this is 2 layers with the brush, and they're not too dissimilar. I'm going to go in just with a second layer through the centre of the face with the sponge. So it's definitely buildable, but it's still really, really natural on the skin. Foundations have come such a long way. I always prefer foundations with the sponge. I just feel like, because you're not dragging up any potential dry skin, you're just padding over the top, you are always going to get a bit more of a flawless finish with a sponge. So my first impressions of the finish is really beautifully glowy. It's not over the top, but it is glowy. So I want to see how that kind of settles for a little bit. I'm going to zoom you in and show you my skin. Bear in mind, I've not set it in place. There might be some creasing around my eyes, etc., because I've not perfected it. However, I just want you to be able to get an idea of how it looks once it's gone on and had a minute to sit on the skin. So this is the skin slightly more close up. You can still see skin texture. Obviously, the idea of the skin texture disappears more so when you set your skin, but overall it looks really beautiful. It's covered all the imperfections. If you've got any burst capillaries, if you've got pores, it does go over everything really nicely. At different angles you can see more skin texture here, but that's natural, that's skin, get used to it. But overall it looks really pretty on the skin. What do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts. Have you tried it? Let me know in the comment section below. I am going to zoom out. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup, come back, and then I'm going to do sporadic check-ins throughout the day to let you know how it's going. I've just finished the rest of my makeup, so I'm going to go about my day and I will check in to see how I'm getting on. I usually do around the 6-hour mark because that tends to be when I would ordinarily take my makeup off, but I will leave it on as long as I can. I've not used any setting spray. I've just gone in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I have filmed the rest of this makeup, so I will put it up just so you guys can see the products that I've used. I actually purchased a couple of extra products from Makeup by Mario, which I have here. One of them is actually broken. The makeup itself is fine, but it's the packaging, so that's a little bit disappointing. However, I will put the tutorial up for this makeup to follow this review. So yeah, overall, I really like it. It's a really nice, good, solid, medium to full coverage finish that I've got going on. I can still see like my freckles through it. So yeah, overall I really like it so far. So we'll see how we get on. I did notice really up close that as it started to settle on my skin, you could see the tiniest of those little shimmers, but like so minuscule, and I only spotted a few of them. And then also what I would say is it doesn't set down. You definitely have to set it, because as I was working on my face, it was on my hands. I accidentally rubbed my nose and it completely came off. For the duration of doing my eye makeup, I didn't set anything in place. I wanted to see how it settled onto the skin. It definitely needed to be set in place because it just kept coming off. So that's a little tip for you there. So I'm going to go downstairs and have some lunch, and I will check in with you in a short while. I have taken my lip gloss off because I had lunch earlier and I decided not to put it back on because it kept getting caught in my hair. So I'm back for my first check-in. It's been about 3.5 hours. As I say, I normally wear makeup for 6 to 8 hours, usually around 6. So I thought doing a check-in around the halfway mark would be ideal. As you can see, it still looks good. It's a little bit, like tiny bit wearing away around the part of my nose here. I had a couple of sneezes earlier, so I knew that I would probably end up wiping a little bit of the foundation away. However, it is lasting really well. I'm definitely getting a little bit shiny just here where I tend to ordinarily get shiny throughout the day, but it is lasting well. I'm also getting shiny on my chin and a little bit on my forehead. I find that when the shine starts to come through, that's when the skin texture starts to look a little bit less favourable. And the sides of my nose are starting to get shiny as well, and that will start to break up the makeup. So I would say it's faring pretty average. for a good foundation for the price of it. I think it's, you know, it's as I would expect it to be, considering I am oily through the T-zone. So far, so good. Let's see how we get on with the last half of the day. How's my foundation holding up for this?
Well, from what I know about foundation, pretty damn well.
Really shiny?
No.
I feel shiny. I feel kind of sticky down here.
You feel it, but you don't look it.
Look, really? You see the shine? Sticky, icky shine.
Right.
So, and we are, what's the time? So we are now 5.5 hours in.
It's good wear, good enough wear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Check back in another few hours.
Yeah. Hey guys, so this is my last check-in. It's been nearly 8 hours now, and as you can see, it's still looking pretty okay. Definitely wearing away around my nose, a little bit around my chin. I feel like, you know, when you sit there, if you go out for food, or, you know, you rest your hands on your face when you're sitting down doing something, it's definitely printing off. I can see that I'm shiny, but I'm not quite as shiny as I've been in the past with other foundations. So overall, I think it's really, really good. It's definitely worn away on my nose. It's gone patchy, but it's not the worst I've seen. So overall, I don't think it's too bad. Because I wanted to see how it wore throughout the day, I've not touched it. I've obviously gone in like this with my fingers a couple of times because I was out and about in public and I felt very, very shiny. So overall, I think it's lasted quite well, but I would normally go in with a blotting sheet to absorb some of the oil, or I'd use my volcanic roller. And then if I needed to, I'd put a little bit of a finishing powder on. But this is it without any of those elements, just to show you how well it's worn based on sort of 7 to 8 hours. I think we're coming up to 8 hours now. So overall, I think it's been really good. The foundation match itself has not been too bad. When it's on fresh, you can kind of see the difference. But I think in terms of just guessing off the website, I didn't do too bad. So there wasn't any groundbreaking claims for this foundation. That's why I didn't mention any at the beginning. It wasn't like, oh, this is like extremely long wear, or this is like a filter in a bottle. There was nothing in it that was kind of like, this promises to be incredible. It was just that it's buildable coverage, sort of skin-like foundation, all of which I agree with. It does say it's luminous but not overly dewy. So I feel like I'm impressed by the fact that it's not over-promising and it didn't under-deliver. So yeah, overall I really like it. It's probably a little bit pricey in general. The price is £45 and I can't remember how much I paid in shipping, but there was no customs, so that was good. Overall, I really do like it. I think it's a really nice foundation. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Again, if you've tried it, I'd love to know, because I'd love to know what you thought of the product, and I'd love to hear your experience of it. I'm going to go and clean my face now and get ready for bed because I'm so tired. Please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to my channel. It is free to do so. Come follow me outside of YouTube over on Instagram at ShowMeMakeup, and I will see you in a few days with another video. Bye guys.